Hello, everybody, and welcome to Strudel Talk. If you're new here, I'm your host, Mara. You can find my podcast on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you're still here with me, thank you for listening to my podcast. I hope you guys are having fun. So, with this, I want to jump into my today's episode. If you saw from my title, you know what is gonna happen, right? Before I start this episode, I want to disclaim that I may curse a lot, so bear with me. And also, I'm so sorry for your ears. So, your girl Mara had like 3 times of relationship. I guess it's 3. It's very easy to count, but I'm still counting. uh, anyway, because I did episode on dating, and then I thought, yeah, why not talk about my relationships back then. So yeah, I haven't been actually in a relationship for many years now. The last one was from 2018 or so till 2020. It was such a weird on and off relationship, and I was so young. I mean, like 24, I guess, something like this. And yeah, that was the last relationship I had. Oh my god, that was, I think, the most horrible relationship in my life that I had. Or I don't know, to be honest, if you listen to this, you would think like, oh my god, Mara, where do you find these people? And somehow I attract them. Is it like a thing that people say like, oh, you attract who you are, or something like this? If you see some kind of videos or reels on Instagram and you see like people giving a relationship advice, or you attract this kind of people because you are like this, or I don't know. So yeah, anyhow, I think I can start from my first relationship. So guys, I never went into relationship until I was like 22 or 3. I think I was 22. Oh my god, I cannot even remember. But I do remember the certain events that happened to me. 2016, I think September, I moved to Vienna because I wanted to start my master's, and in that dorm I met someone. Okay, let's call him Mirko. Mirko and I met on that uneventful day. I'm a smoker and I needed a lighter, but somehow I don't know why I didn't have lighter, and then I saw a guy in the yard. I decided to approach him and ask for a lighter, and he was like, yeah, sure, this is my lighter. I was like, okay, thank you. I turned on my cigarette, and then he was like, do you want to sit down? I was like, sure, and we started talking. And then in my bag I had 2 cans of beers. Somehow that guy spotted that, and in our language we say and it's very hard to actually translate this expression. It's very hard. I don't know what to say. It's like, you meet some people that they have everything, yet they kind of want something more, this kind of thing, but it's not greedy. But anyway, so he spotted those cans of beers, and then he was like, hey, I'm hosting some kind of party tonight. Do you want to join? And I looked at him and said, yeah, of course. I mean, why not? Because today is Friday and I wanted to drink anyway by myself, and might as well, why not, with people and get to know more people in that dorm. And yeah, in the evening I came to the smoking area, and then he was hosting, or host of that party, and it was quite going so well. I think I was just talking with like 2-3 people who were sitting next to me, and one of the guys from that party was like his good friend or something, and he was super funny. And then other side of me, there was a girl who was sitting, and then she was drinking a lot and smoking a lot too, but no judgment. And then she got drunk and she was telling some stories about this Mirko and her. So for me, I was like, I don't give a shit. She's drunk, so I guess she wants to share certain things that is super personal. And I was just sitting there listening to this. And later we decided to go out, like some kind of club. And in Vienna, to be honest, then I did not know any kind of place, and we went to Patadom. Gosh, If you ask this club from me back then, I might have said it's very nice club. But after many years of experience going out, oh my goodness, I would never step into that place ever again. So yeah, we were in the Patadom, we were dancing, and it has many floors, 3 floors, different types of music, and he likes somehow hip hop, and back then I used to listen to also hip hop, and then somehow we ended up together, boom, shakalala, like grown up stuff. You guys also did that too, right? Some listeners. And then I woke up and my hangover was okay, like bearable, surprisingly. Of course, I was 22, so yeah, my liver was way better. And then I remember, okay, this was fun. Like, this was fun, cool. I never expected myself get into that relationship. Isn't it always happen like this? People say like, oh, when you're least expected, things can happen. And I think that happened. And I was like, okay, fuck it, why not? He's cute. So we started like this. And then since we all live together in the same dorm, it's easy to meet each other. But then for me, I think I didn't have this big of a love from the beginning. I was just like, okay, why not kind of mindset. And since I did not know anyone in Vienna, I thought it's gonna be good company. And also I started to hang out with his friends. So in a way, maybe I was kinda, lonely, and I didn't want to be alone kind of situation. But of course later I started to like him, just don't get me wrong. But in the beginning, I didn't have this like, oh my god, I love him so much, that's why we are together. No, nothing like this. Yeah, so this guy is from Serbia and he's very good at learning languages. He could speak very well German and English, so we were speaking English. He was studying something linguistic, I think. Yeah, Germanistic or something. Oh my goodness, I forgot. Okay, he was studying something, and at the same time he was working as a part-time waiter, and also he was working over hours, but it was mostly not noted down. This like a black way. Is it a black way? Because we call it black way in my language. Anyway, so he was earning good money as a student, and the dorm was not that expensive, and we were in a double room, so at that time I guess we were just paying 300, something like this. And then of course that dude stopped studying. He just wanted to earn money, and I kind of get it too, because he was not getting any support from his family and he needed to have the money. And at the same time he was failing some classes and he was not really paying attention on that, and he's Serbian and they're not in EU, so he needs visa. So guys, it will come later why I'm talking about is he was not studying so much. So anyhow, we started this relationship, and one of the moments that he started to tell me about his past life, like what kind of girls he had, this kind of thing, and I was like, okay, well, cool, good for ya, I don't care, I don't give a shit about your past life. And then that motherfucker tells me like he almost slept with the whole dorm, and I was looking at him like, what? And it was like, yeah, there's this girl I slept with, there is that girl I slept with. And I was like, what the fuck? And then those girls are still in that dorm, and for me, I don't care like if they had something, but why need to know this information? I don't even know why he was sharing about this. And then apparently he also had different relationship from that dorm, and that girl, poor girl, I did not know that, because when we were together in the smoking area, I could feel someone was just staring at us, and I thought maybe we are being too this lovely, doubly touchy, kind of couple. But then later he told me that that girl was his ex-girlfriend. Okay, let's call her Layla. So he used to together with Layla, and then I think they broke up in such a weird way, and she got heartbroken because he decided to break up, this kind of thing, and they never resolved, this kind of bad vibe, bad blood. So I think she was just generally very pissed about the whole thing, not just on us. But then of course it's so hard to see your ex being with a new girl in front of you and being this like lovely dovely. I get it totally that Layla, why she was staring at us. I would have done the same probably. Anyway, so yeah, there's this Layla. And at some point, my ex Mirko tells me like, hey, by the way, since now Layla is my ex-girlfriend, is that okay if I go to her room and talk about how we broke up? I think we need to resolve things, that how we ended things up, and she seems like she's kind of mad at me. And I was like, sure, go ahead. Yeah, might as well, why not? You should talk about it, I guess, if she really wants to, or if you want to, go. Like, guys, my trust, oh my god, like I never had jealousy problem. Like if someone told me I'm gonna do this, then I would trust 100%, especially with my partners. For me, it's like a normal thing. I don't know why, I never questioned why are you going to her room or something. For me it was super normal thing. I thought like, because I trusted that ass, and he seemed like kind of surprised because I said yes, go to her room, why not? Maybe he was expecting that I would be like, no, don't go to her room, blah 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 blah, but I didn't do that. So I was like, okay. And I think he came back to my room the next day or something like this, I don't even remember that, and he was like, yeah, we talked it out, now everything is fine. And I was like, wow, good for you. I mean, okay, great that now maybe Layla will stop staring at us. And she kinda did, but kinda it became super weird as well. I don't know why, like, whenever we were hanging out, if Layla was there, he would start, playing her favorite song and something like this. And he would be telling like, oh, you used to like this kind of song, right? And then, I don't know, they would start flirting again. And I'll be like, what is this? What the fuck is going on? And then I'll be like, okay, that was odd, but okay, whatever. And then whenever we, had party in the dorm, we would get into fights. And then I'll be like, okay, is this even normal? Like, why do we fight so much? And I was thinking like, okay, something is wrong, like something is going on, but I couldn't find exactly what. And then I needed to really concentrate on my studies because I need my grades and etc for my visa. And one of the days he was like, oh, I want to go out party with my friends, and I was like, sure, yeah, have fun. And I was really studying, and then after I was done I went to bed and I slept, and he came to my room like in the middle of the night or something like this, completely drunk. And the next day he was saying like, the party was nice, there were some cute girls, but I was so brave. And I was like, brav? And back then my German was not that great, and I thought maybe brav was like a brave. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I wanted to know if brav means really brave, but then it was strong. So that motherfucker was telling me that he didn't flirt with any girls, he was so strong, he didn't do anything in the party. And I was thinking like, what is this? Like, I completely trust him that he will never do something weird behind me. And I was thinking again like, why is he saying that he was so strong? What does that even mean? Okay, so I kind of weirded out, but this topic never went into something else. Yeah. So since we live in a dorm, there are so many exchange students come from different countries, and then we had some Spanish girls. So before I go into details, I want to tell you something that my ex Mirko used to do. He's a very friendly person. He likes to become friends with everybody, and he likes to invite everybody to whatever they want to do. And for me, this was never the problem, because I mean, why not? Like, it's nice to hang out with people too. But then he can really carry on that. It can get into the weird situation that I don't know if he's being friendly or flirty, because he is heterosexual man, cis heterosexual man, so you can kind of tell how he is with men versus women. And I was kind of thinking like, okay, is he being like too touchy with that girl, or is he being like this? So I couldn't really tell, and I was not really thinking too much. And then I was like, okay, whatever, I guess he's like this with girls and being very flirty and whatnot. But I was like, okay, this is kind of odd, but whatever. And I was never a jealous person, but I became one. And I hated myself becoming that person. I was so jealous of everybody almost. Okay, not everybody since he's cis heterosexual man, let's say woman. Which I also feel that shouldn't be like this because of one motherfucker. I shouldn't be jealous of girls. So my self-esteem went so low and I was just, being this ball of jealous person and having fight all the time. And I was like, okay, you know what, Mara, like I cannot do this anymore. So I tried to break off, but we just couldn't break up somehow. Yeah, anyway, and one of the comments that I will never ever forget in my life, he gave me some kind of a long ass coat for for a Christmas gift. Fucker told me that, oh, finally you look like a woman. And I was like looking at him like, what the fuck? And then I thought, okay, do I dress up like a boy or what is this? And guys, or girls, whoever, don't change your style just because your partner says something about it. I completely changed my style. I started to buy dresses, I don't know, tight clothes, this kind of thing, because I wanted to please him. And then one of the days, he tells me like, why don't you wear leggings? And I was looking at him like, yeah, I do wear leggings, but in the gym. He said I should wear leggings normal days to show off my ass like one of those Spanish girls. I was thinking like, okay, what is this? Like, so now I have to wear leggings because I have to please this person? Or you're looking at that girl's ass and you think, so this whole thing was so weird and I just couldn't grasp things. And at the same time, I'm so confused. Is it really coming out from his mouth? And then, since my self-esteem was very low, and this kind of comment made even worse. So dumb me, of course, what I thought was like, oh, I gotta please my boyfriend, so I decided to wear fucking leggings. That was not me. Yeah, so throughout this many months, I think I just become this weird girl, like, I don't know, man. I wish I could apologize for those girls. Maybe I look like mad or something because I was so jealous, I guess. Yeah. And of course, we would again get into fights because I cannot hold this, big ball of emotions and jealousy and whatnot, that it's just not me. And a big point or two big points that made me to think, okay, fuck, I have to get out of this relationship. One of them was that whoever told me, so I'm not gonna of course tell that person's name, we used to hang out, and to be honest, she was closer to my ex-boyfriend, and I had the feelings that he would tell actually more stuff to her than to me. So in a way that, the things that maybe he couldn't tell me, that he would tell her, that kind of a friend. So I guess they were good friends. And we would have like parties here and there in the dorm. And apparently one of the parties that we attended, let's say, I don't know why I went to my room so early on that day, so I have no clue. Anyway, somehow they started to talk, this girl and him, the Mirko, and he said that, oh, now my ex-girlfriend looks so sexy, I think she lost some weight, I would like to actually fuck her rather than my girlfriend. So this happened like after a few months of our relationship, and this topic came to my ears like I think it was like, let's say December or something, and we started our relationship like in September. Yeah. And throughout this, September to December, I went through all of this shit of my self-esteem going down and being jealous person and thinking that I'm not pleasing enough or I'm not that attractive enough to my boyfriend, so he wants to be with other girls or something. And then plus this information comes to my ears and I couldn't believe, and I was like, okay, you know what, this is too much, I gotta talk to him. And I did, of course. Like I confronted him and said, hey Mirko, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, how can you do this to me? And then he was like, can you believe her words or mine? I never said this. And that moment I was like, brainwashed to the next level. He was like, I would never tell this kind of thing. Come on, Mara, do you believe in her? I think she's just jealous of you. Maybe she wanted to, do something with me, so now she's trying to, put things between us. And then, I was so dumb. I believed him. And then I stopped being friends with that girl. Oh, I'm so sure she was telling the truth. Knowing everything now, to see from the outside, it's been many years. And if I try to now think of what happened, for sure she was telling me the truth, and she was trying to probably help me to say, hey, get out of that fucking relationship. And now I'm feeling like, okay, I'm so sorry for that girl who was trying to be my friend, but I was so dumb to listen to the boyfriend. Yeah, so that motherfucker again did this kind of thing, and throughout this time my trust was gone, and my love that I kind of tried to have was completely gone. And in that moment I did not know what to do. So yeah, I still decided to be in that stupid relationship. So partially I was stupid. I cannot blame him because I was so dumb also, believe his words and everything. Probably he thought like, wow, this girl believes in whatever I says. Oh man. And then finally, what happened? Do you remember that I was telling you that he was not studying so well, so he was failing classes, and then he failed one of the class so hard that he couldn't get his visa. So that guy had to go back home, which happened then in January. So our relationship was actually very, very short. But guys, don't think that we stopped being in relationship in January. I don't know why I'm laughing. Because I think I'm just started to laughing because how dumb I was. Yeah, but then there's a second breaking point that everything went very dark. So since we knew that he was going back home for sure, because of visa and this kind of thing, and we decided to have farewell party. And of course, the place we went to was Pratadom. And this time, he invited his friends, whatnot. Also, basically his friends were kind of also my friends, but I would say more his friends. But one of his very close friend was such a good guy, and I'm so sad that we kind of lost in touch now, but he was really, really good guy. Like, he would always, kind of more caring about kind of how I'm feeling in this relationship. I have the feelings that he knew his friend was a shit. So on that evening, it was like his friends and then plus one of my close friends. So, I was acting like, I don't know, like too close to him, I guess, because I didn't have boundaries with people sometimes. Like, I can be very touchy person and this kind of thing, and then with this guy I was exceptionally very close, and that's the only friend I got from the dorm that doesn't belong to my ex-boyfriend. And that night, oh my god, I got so drunk, guys, and I saw him again, flirting with his friend and whatnot, and I was like, fuck this, I cannot handle this anymore. My self-esteem is anyway so bad. So many things happened to me, and so many things between this relationship happened. So for me, I thought like, fuck this, he's leaving anyway. And then once I was so drunk, guys, I blacked out. I did not know what I was doing, and then one moment I woke up. That woke up was by the slap of my ex-boyfriend on my face. I woke up, I was like looking at him, and I was like looking around the people, and they were like, oh shit, Mara, are you okay? And everybody came towards me, and I was like, what the fuck happened? And then his friends tried to separate him from me, and then I realized, fuck, did he just slap me? And then I was like, looking around, and of course this his friend that I'm telling you that who was very, very nice to me. He just came to him and was like, Mara, is everything okay? Are you good? I cannot believe he just slapped you. And I was like, what? Guys, like, I got sobered up. My blackout drunkenness was gone, immediately gone. And then I decided to just leave Patadom, go home, and then that's it. And that fucker was following me and then trying to talk to me. I was like, no, I'm not gonna talk to you, blah, blah, blah. Don't know how he arrived at the dorm earlier than me. And then I was like, I couldn't believe, on the way I was crying. I didn't understand what was going on. Like, why would he slap me? So everything was just a blur, and I just couldn't understand. And that moment was so scary, man. Once you see your boyfriend does this kind of shit. So he was not only, mentally abusive, but he became physical abusive person. And he tried to apologize. He was crying and shit. And I was like, man, no, we are done. Like, I cannot. And then he was like, yeah, but it's also your fault. You were dancing with that guy so close. You were like a whore. And then the whole time I was thinking, okay, so you couldn't separate me from that guy, but you decided to just slap me. So that's how you do it. And then I was like thinking, okay, you know what? I cannot do this anymore. And that moment I was like, okay, no, Mirko, no, that's it, stop. And then I knew that he was going back to Serbia. So I was getting calmer and calmer, each time. I was like, okay, you know what? He's not gonna stay here, so everything's gonna be fine. And then some of his other friends would come to me and say, hey, can't you just forgive him? He was not, thinking when he was doing this. And then I was like, guys, like, let me be. And then, this was horrible experience, and I wasn't sure what I was doing in that moment. I was just like 23 or something like this, and very young. And in that age, when you don't have someone that you can share this experience with, you don't know what to do. And then if the other person is so good with words, you just bluntly believe in that person. Even this kind of thing happens to you, and like you are in this position, but you've been really brainwashed or gaslighted, whatever it is, or being under control of something. You cannot decide things very good, I would say. So what I'm trying to tell people is that whoever in this position, I know how it feels. I know how hard to get out of this. But once you find a way that you start seeing things, you know what you need to do. But in my case, I was so lucky that he was anyway going away. But of course, myself, dumbest thing I did was forgive him. Mara, look at yourself back in the days, like, oh, I'm gonna forgive this guy who just slapped me. Yes, I did that, and I cannot blame anyone but myself. So yeah, guys, once you heard that I forgave him, oh man, I stayed with him till April, but it was long distance relationship, so we would have, of course, fights again and again. I told him before he left, I told him that I don't trust you anymore, and I don't love you anymore. Actually, I told that to him, and then he was like, oh, that hurts me so much. And I was like, dude, like, look, you hurt me so many times, so much that now I can't even feel anything towards you, but of course I'm gonna stay with you. I don't know why even I did that. I don't understand myself. What did I do? Was I doing some charity there? I'm not fucking Mother Teresa, I don't know why I did that. And then I visited him in March or April, I think. It was one of those Easter holiday, and since he's Serbian, they do different Easters, I think. Yeah, anyway, so I went to his place in Serbia. It was amazing. I met his parents and whatnot. But guys, when I was going there, I had one thing in my mind. I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. If we're fine, then maybe we'll continue. If not, I'm gonna break up. And then guess what? Of course, we had to fight the time. I was the unhappiest person in that time. Even though Serbia is beautiful, the place we went was super beautiful, the food was amazing, but I was just hating him so much. And I was still the same person who was jealous, self-esteem is very low, and this kind of everything. And it was just very hard, and I didn't even want to stay very long. He was like, oh, can you stay longer? But then I made a lie and I said I have to go back because I'm working in the lab, which was not true, because I just couldn't stay there anymore. And then I came back to Vienna, and one thing I just decided in my head was like, okay, this is it, I cannot do this anymore. And I told him, let's break up. And yes, we did break up. But the one shitty thing I did was that he was not believing that we are not together anymore. So once, or I don't know when I went out, it was sometime in April or May, I don't remember. I went out with his friends because his friends also my friend, and then I kissed some guy, and then of course the friends told him, and then he got super pissed at me. And of course, guys, I'm not saying that I was so happy that we broke up, but I was genuinely happy, but at the same time also sad. Of course, it's a breakup, so it feels the sadness in my heart, but then I was also like, yes, I am free, so I can do whatever I want. So this is my first relationship story, guys. Don't feel bad for me, guys. I also did some stupid decisions, and I'm totally over of this guy. Well, I had to build my self-esteem again and this kind of thing, so I went to gym a lot. Like, I was working out so much, and I was like, yeah, I'm back again, something like this. And of course, trusting people, or not people, but more like a partner, was very hard for me. And of course, my self-esteem was not completely completely 100% there. It was just, building up. I would say I'm still working on that. Oh, just for your information, I think a few years back, he texted me something on Facebook because that guy fucking blocked me from everywhere back then because I kissed different guy and whatnot. And then I think he removed me from his blog or whatever. I don't care. And then he sends me some of the video that we were kind of together, and he was like, oh, look at this moment. And I was like, I told him, please stop sending me this kind of shit. And apparently I told him, please delete whatever videos that he has from me. Yeah guys, big fart moment. Okay guys, so now I'll move on to my second relationship. With this guy, I met him through actually Instagram. So I was the one who initiated it. This was super weird and funny situation. His friend was visiting in Vienna from München, and I found his friend on Tinder, but then I was going through, Tinder profile, and I saw this guy from this picture. I was like, whoa, his friend is way cuter. I want to know this guy. And me, my ass, FBI, whatever, stalker, I don't know, good at gathering information, let's say, found his friend's Instagram and then found that guy. Okay, let's call him Tom. So we started chatting on Instagram, and I was like, wow, we kind of started to have this very stupid humor as well, so we got clicked so well. And I couldn't believe that I'm the one who initiated this, because usually I don't do that, but I guess I really got attracted to that guy. I wish I could share his picture, guys. He's really cute guy. I think he's the cutest guy I ever dated in my life. And then I was like, okay, I was so flirty, and I was like, oh shit, what if this guy doesn't like me back, and this kind of thing. But we managed, somehow we did it. And it was like a long distance thingy, because I live in Vienna and he still lives in München, and this is gonna be a very heartbreaking story. We met once, actually, or no, twice in this whole time, and again, somehow Easter break, I went to visit him in München. And I was so nervous. I was like, fuck, what if we don't like each other or something like this? And he was like, I'm gonna pick you up from the main station or something. And it was already it was still cold, even though it was Easter. And I arrived in the afternoon. I remember it was getting darker. And I thought, okay, what if this guy doesn't show up? What am I gonna do in München? So all of this thought was going around in my head, but I still believed that he would show up, and he did. And I was like, oh, we were both so shy, and we were just, we talked so much on the phone, we shared stuff as well. I'm not gonna disclose that, but then I was like, whoa, this is really we met in life or real. And that moment, he was living with his mom. I'm not sure if he still does that, but anyway, he was living with his mom, and somehow his brother was not in a town, so he decided to ask his brother's apartment, and we went to the brother's apartment. And guys, I cannot believe that how much of this tension that we had, everything clicked so good. Even when I'm now telling about this story, I'm having this big smile on my face, because I was really I was really liking this guy. And he showed me around München and this kind of thing, and then I didn't stay very long because I was also doing my internship back then, and I cannot stay, or take longer holiday. And since it was, Easter, and I met his mom and his brother and brother's best friend or something like this. And it was so weird because my German is not so good, so he has to, translate. And I was like, wow, okay, this was great. And I came back, and we tried to somehow have this relationship or situationship. I don't know how to tell. We didn't say that we are together, but we were behaving like we are together. So I guess it was situationship. And one of the things that we were sure was that we cannot get together in that moment, because he was busy trying to finish his studies or whatnot, and prepare for his exams. And I guess it was very busy time. And for me, I was just waiting. And I kind of told him hey, look, I really like you, but I don't know, we have long distance. I don't know how we can travel, because one thing I have to mention that he's on wheelchair, and for him I think traveling alone is quite hard because someone has to carry him, this kind of thing. And as well as when I was staying in a dorm, we didn't have this barrier free access, so this already makes our whatever ship back then harder. And also I think he didn't want to move away from München because his friends and family are there, and also how can he just move away because of one girl or something, right? So I was like, I totally understood him. And also I couldn't move to München because just I cannot do that, and we just know each other for a few months. But then we were really got along so well, and we tried to understand each other even better. And whenever we had fight, we would be just openly talk about it. Not like the fight I had with Mirko back then. It was completely different, and he was even way younger than Mirko, and I couldn't believe that he was way mature. And certain things, of course, everything was not always happy, and we would fight because it's long distance. And sometimes when he goes out, I get a bit jealous because apparently my self-esteem was still not there. And since we are not together, I guess that made me even feel like, okay, a bit shaky, that nothing is very certain. And we decided to first to have not relationship, but kinda open relationship. And I agreed to that. I was like, okay, sure, let's do that. I mean, that's a very good idea. And at some point I couldn't do it. I think I was getting way jealous. And then I told him, hey, look, can we have something closed? So we tried again, closed relationship. And then again, at some point we decided to open it again because it just was not working, because we are just having things from long distance. And to be honest, I think we needed our physical needs. And in that point I was like, okay, sure, let's open it again. But then we would tell each other openly with whom we are going out, but not in details. But then we would know each other what we are doing. And one thing we promised each other is that whoever we goes out with, it's just gonna not prolong, and the main thing will be me and him, so meaning me and Tom. But I broke his heart. I met someone in the dorm, and I got too much attracted to that person, and I started spending time with this guy from the dorm too much that I decided to stop things with Tom. Before we made things open, I already booked my train ticket to München to visit him in October. And then meanwhile, I met this other guy, and then and at some point I had to tell Tom hey, look, I got into something that I never expected, and genuinely I feel fucking bad about it. And I kind of tried to mention it through the phone or something, and I told him hey, I have to tell you something, and I did. But at the same time it just didn't feel great because it's just through the phone. So I decided to go to München in October to tell everything. And back then the guy that I was seeing was super understanding, and he was saying okay, sure, I understand that you're in this complicated situation, so I would say go to him and talk to him and tell whatever you want, but once you are back I'll be here. So I went to München, and it was, oh my god, I don't know, it was so painful. It was very painful. I stayed at his place with his mom, and the first day he was even saying that he wants to move to Vienna, and he has been looking for universities, and that was already making me so sad because I have to now break off. And then I was like, okay, the last day or something, I'm also I don't know why I took that long. I told him, hey, look, Tom, I'm so sorry to break this off. I met someone and I really like this person, and I just wanted to tell you that me and you, we won't work out anymore, and I wanted to tell you that in person. And he got super pissed, and of course 100% right. I totally understand that I did something wrong. And then we didn't have fight, but of course he was pissed at me, and we tried to talk about it, and then it was super hard, and I was just not really I don't know, I just couldn't tell anything because I know I did something wrong. And on that last day, I was supposed to get a train or bus to go back to Vienna, but then I was so dumb I missed that. And then I decided to get a blah blah car, but then my card was not working or something like this. And then I had to call the guy that was staying in Vienna to help me out. Oh, that was so horrible. Tom was listening all the time, our conversation, even saying like I miss you and shit. And I was like, fuck Mara, you're such a horrible person. And then I found a blah blah car, and I was like, okay, great, I am going. But at the same time, like, he was so pissed, and he was like, Mara, I know you will find your way to find this blah blah car. I'm gonna go back home. And that was one of the last time I saw him, and I was feeling very bad. Still feel guilty though, like still feel that it was supposed to be me and him. Like that's how we agreed to have. That's the open relationship, right? Like open relationship meaning you will stay with this person, but whoever you meet should not, influence your relationship. But I couldn't stay with that promise, and I did something against it. So for me, I was like, fuck, what did I do? I hurt this person so bad. And we still kept in touch. I apologized many times, of course. Words cannot really heal, right? I mean, time, people say. But of course he was pissed at me. He said that he was pissed at me a very long time, and at some point he kind of forgave me, and I don't know even how he forgave me, to be honest. And I was like, okay, still, this guilty feeling inside of me. So I never ever thought of meeting him, even though he was saying, hey, one day we should sit down for a coffee and talk, which actually he asked me to do last year, summer. And guys, like that moment, I was getting this anxiety again. I was like, okay, I can meet him. I can do this. It's been like, I don't know how many years now, 5 years, I guess. I can do this. So like just meet him and face whatever you deserve to do, or whatever he says. It's gonna be all fine. We are grown-ups. But at the end, I couldn't go. I was damn coward to see his face. And the last minute I said, I'm so sorry, I cannot come. I'm just having this anxiety of whatever I did to you is just coming back to me again and again, and I feel so guilty. And again, I hurt him, of course. And to be honest, one time he asked me why I decided to choose the other person, and I told him, look, like there's nothing against you. It was just me being very selfish in that moment. I needed someone next to me, like physical wise and emotional wise, and whatever we had was very long distance, and I couldn't see also a future with us because either one has to move away, which will be probably my case, but I cannot move away from Vienna. And then somehow this guy appeared, and it was very convenient for me, and he also stayed in the same dorm. So I was like, okay, this is amazing. And the person himself was also a very nice guy. So like, I don't know, that moment everything clicked again, and I was like, shit. And even though he heard these reasons, what I was reasoning, he was still super mature and didn't blame me. But of course, he can blame me whatever he wants to. I totally understand. So this is how went my second relationship. And you can guess that my third relationship would be this guy that I met in the dorm. Woohoo! And I used to joke with him like, I'm doing a PhD on this relationship, which turned out to be real. Like PhD man, suffering. So let's call him Kevin. Kevin is from Germany, and we met in the dorm, as you heard just now. First I thought he was very cool guy, very smart. He was studying chemistry and doing his bachelor thesis internship in some company. So for me it was like, it's so nice to talk to someone science, and he's very smart guy. And also I got attracted and whatnot, and I was like, yeah, cute, attractive, smart, why not, perfect. Okay, Okay, so the first few months we didn't take this as very serious because I knew he was going away to Germany. And then we were just fooling around and so on, and it got started to be serious. And in that moment, I did not know how to handle. He was busy writing his thesis or whatnot, and I was busy with my own thing, so we both had stress and we did not know how to deal with. And it was also his first relationship, so we were both trying to learn each other, but got into this relationship without knowing each other. So we would have not fight, but we would come to this argument, but then we did not know how to handle. So my dumb ass thought it's the best way to is do a break, and I think he thought it was a breakup. So this is the scenario that Ross and Rachel comes to the point, was it a breakup or break? But for me it was a break. And then we had like a week off from each other, and I thought, okay, you know what, seems like we have to go through this together to get to know each other. And for him, he thought it was a breakup, so he said like, okay, we thought we broke up. And I was like, what? And then I explained him, look, like I said, let's have a break, not break up. And then we got to the point that he said like, okay, now I cannot trust you anymore because whenever this kind of hardship happens, you say let's have a break. And I was like, shit, that's kind of true. We have to go through this in a way that we will know each other better. But then I couldn't do that. Also, I was so immature. And then I was like, shit, okay, got it. And then we tried to build this trust, and it was going better, everything. And guys, again, do you remember my first relationship? I just told you like a few minutes ago. My self-esteem was still not there, so I was again this jealous girlfriend, bro. And then I would say something stupid out of jealousy because he was doing nothing wrong. Of course, who wants to be with this kind of person who always says something annoying, negative, whatnot? But then guys, one thing I realized or caught him, so we were planning our New Year's trip to Prague then. Since he's German, he was going back home for Christmas, and then for New Year's we thought we can spend it together, and after the New Year's we were going to Prague. So for that we were looking for Airbnb to stay together, and I was on his phone and looking for Airbnb, what could be better for us. And then stupidly or not, it was so out of nowhere, guys, somehow his WhatsApp was open. Guys, really, I'm telling you, I didn't go and open his WhatsApp, but it kind of opened because I don't know, I never used Samsung before, I don't know what I did, but then the app opened and I was like, fuck, the app got open, what the fuck? And then I saw a text message with some girl that I never heard of before, and I got curious and I was like, okay, I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be checking his phone, I shouldn't be reading. But then I got so curious because whatever they texted the last, and then I went into that conversation, and oh my god, the way they texted was wow, so sexual. So the thing is, guys, at some point I said I took this relationship seriously, right? Because he was saying that, oh, the reason that he wants to stay longer in Vienna is because of you and this kind of shit. So I thought, oh my god, this relationship is going serious. Yeah, that conversation happened in like beginning of December when we were having a dinner and stuff. He was like, oh Mara, actually I want to stay here longer because why not? I thought of starting my master's here, and also because of you. So for me, this information is like something serious, that okay, I have to take this person, like I like this person. And then that motherfucker was texting with someone else before that, saying like, oh yeah, I'm so horny, this kind of shit. And then he was texting her like saying, oh, I wish you were here next to me, blah blah blah. And then the girl was like, don't you have a girlfriend? And he was like, yes, I had some Asian. We were not that serious. And then I got so pissed when I read that message. And that dumb ass walked into his room, and I looked at him and I was trying not to be, like agitated or something, and my hands were shaking so bad. I was so mad, but at the same time got hurt. So I started to shake, but then I didn't want to show this to him. And then I was telling him, okay, God, let's book the Airbnb and everything will be fine and so on. And we booked the Airbnb and we were done, but I couldn't hold it anymore. I was like, hey Kevin, what the fuck is this? Who is this person? Why did you tell this kind of stuff? And then he was like, oh, look at you, you opened my WhatsApp, I trusted you by giving my phone to you. And then I had to explain how the fucking WhatsApp got opened, and then he couldn't believe that. Of course, nobody will believe it, right? How it can open without me going through his phone. Yes, I get it, but it just happened that the fucking WhatsApp opened. And I don't know how fucking Samsung works because I have iPhone. And anyway, so I told him, okay, look, like it was painful. I get it that you were horny or whatnot, but then the most painful thing for me was that you mentioned there was some Asian, not even saying who I was, not even respecting me in that moment. And also another thing he said was we were not that serious, but then at the same time he was saying I want to stay in Vienna and this kind of shit. So yeah guys, that was very painful, and that was right before he was leaving to home for Christmas. And then we had a big argument. We decided not to talk for some time, but then I think he couldn't bear that we were not talking on the phone and this kind of thing. So he then decided to text me and say, hey, he's actually feeling very sorry and how he left me alone in Vienna. And of course, guys, I forgave him and also apologized that somehow I opened his WhatsApp and I went through his, messages. And then since then, he never gave me his phone. He always took his phone with him, even to toilet or taking a shower. And I think he didn't trust me with his phone anymore, which is weird. If you hide something, then okay, some people say like my phone is my privacy. I get it. But then if you hide something, then sometimes people don't want to give their phone. But anyway, my judgment is that I don't hide anything, then I can give my phone to someone. And he came back from home after Christmas and we had nice New Year's together with friends. And then after like a day or something, we went to Prague. Damn, the Prague was so cold. It was snowing all the time, but they had Christmas market. And one thing that we never clicked was that we never felt so comfortable sleeping together. Either he moves a lot or something. It's just never happened, like I never slept so well. So I guess that says also something. If you cannot sleep with your partner and sleep deep, that's like bad. Because with my previous boyfriend, with Mirko, I could sleep like so deep, and with Tom also I could sleep so well, but with this guy Kevin, not at all. And one of the annoying thing that I found was that, I don't know if it's annoying, he would be in a very bad mood in the mornings. I know there are people who are like naturally in a bad mood whenever they wake up, but apparently I was never meant to handle that kind of thing. So we would get into small arguments here and there because I wake up and I'm in a good mood, I'm trying to be there for him. He'll be like, oh, leave me alone, can you move away, or something like this. And I don't know, maybe it's also something that we never got along in the mornings, that he needs his time to wake up. I get it, you do you. And then we would have breakfast. But then sometimes when I wake up, I just want to be like cuddly with my partner and this kind of thing. But I don't know why, that was getting low and low, and somehow I thought this is because he's German. Another thing is that when it reaches 10 p.m. he'll be like, oh, time to sleep, can you leave my room? And I'm like, what? Because we were still in the dorm, so I was always going to his room because he had TV in his room, so we would watch things. And then I was like, whoa, so it's just 10 p.m. like, dude, we can stay till 11 or something. He'll be like, no, I have to sleep, can you please leave? And then I'll be like begging, oh, come on, let's cuddle a bit more. So this was happening a lot. And to be honest, like when I started this relationship, I realized I was spending so much time with him. He was also doing that. I think at some point, like, I stopped hanging out with my friends, also him too. And slowly, I think my friends were trying to tell me back then, like, hey Mara, like, why don't you hang out with us or something? But then I would rather to hang out with my boyfriend somehow. I was reducing my time to spend with my friends, and I was just more like being with him. And I think that was a very toxic thing that we started. Either one of us would get mad if the time was not happening. For instance, once apparently he wanted to smoke with me, like a cigarette or something, but then I decided to go down in smoking area to meet my friends and have cigarette. And then I went upstairs like after 30 minutes or something because I haven't seen them for a while, and then I just wanted to hang out with them. And he would say something like in along of the line like, oh, now I lost my, appetite to smoke because you came late. And then I'll be like, fuck, okay, next time I want to be on time so he wouldn't be mad at me or something. And once he's mad at me, he's like really mad at me, He wouldn't talk to me and this kind of thing, ignoring, and I have to beg and like, come on, Kevin, this and that. And this would happen repetitive. And I wasn't realizing this, I think I was so much in love that I wasn't seeing so many things, and most probably my friends back then was seeing something was going on. That how am I spending like all of my time with this person? And then through the time, of course, we would hang out with other people in the dorm, but like most of the times it was just us, and that is actually very toxic, I think. And another toxic thing that kind of stayed with me from my first relationship is the jealousy part. I was telling you that I was never a jealous person, but my self-esteem got very low, right? And at the same time, when I figured out that he was kind of denying me to other girl in order to, get something out of from that girl, made me think that I'm not sufficient. I'm not enough for this person, and that's why he is denying me, And that kind of made me to feel again like, like jealous person, like putting my self-esteem again very low. I was being this, thinking like I'm not attractive enough, this kind of thing. And I was comparing myself to other people a lot, and I was thinking like, okay, maybe my boyfriend likes this kind of girl or something. And of course, like, our relationship was going very toxic in a way that we couldn't handle each other's characters. I think he was kind of ashamed of me sometimes, because I would go out with my like home clothes, let's say to bakery, and then he would be like, oh, Mara, what are you wearing? Are you gonna wear this to go to bakery? And it's just like fucking 100 or 200 meters away from our place. And then I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, yeah, this is how I'm going. And then he will be like, oh. And few more things happened in our relationship was, my German was not that good back then. Now is way better. And then he would be like, you've been living in this country for so long and you cannot even speak well German. Instead of, pushing me to speak with him in German, but he was criticizing how I am. And that made me feel like, oh shit, okay, I have to really learn German and this kind of thing. And he would blame in a way that, the language barrier is whatever reason that we are not communicating so well. Maybe that's true, maybe not. And another thing that I heard from his mouth was something so weird, which back then I did not know. So he was saying that he is so German that he can get Aryan passport. And back then I did not know what the fuck was Aryan passport, because guys, like world history in Mongolia back then, we didn't learn so much about in details of what the fuck is Aryan passport. But then I got to know Aryan passport during the World War II or something. The Germans could get it so that they can show they're not Jewish people. And then I was surprised. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then another weird thing he mentioned was that, oh, history will repeat again. And that's the time when actually refugees started to, come to Europe a lot. So yeah, basically, I don't know, like I couldn't understand his ideology. Cause then his girlfriend back then, me, an Asian, and then his very good friend is from or was from Syria. So I just couldn't put things together, and I was just sitting there thinking like, what the fuck is this? What the hypocritical shit is going on? Yeah, so guys, like this kind of small things kinda was weird, but then the huger or bigger aspect that our relationship was going down and down. And somehow like, I don't know guys, like I was so jealous person, and I would be like, being this detective kind of, so I became very toxic person. I'm not gonna, lie or something. I'm gonna be honest here. Yes, I became very toxic person and he couldn't handle this anymore. And then I was like, okay, you know what? Because I was going crazy in my head, I decided to break up. And stupid me, I should have thought about saying before, let's break up or something. And of course, again, me, I don't know, guys, I did so many weird decisions. I said something weird stuff. And then I decided to, go back to him again and say, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to break up with you, blah, blah, blah. And of course, he has the 100% right to say, hey, I don't trust you anymore. Like, whenever whatever fight we have, I think now he would think that I want to break up with him. So I get it. Like, since then we started to have on and off things. So yeah, this is the most painful thing. So since we were not together anymore, we wouldn't hang out and stuff. And then again, like at some point we would start fucking around, and then we would get back together, and then he would be like saying like, I don't want to be with you anymore, I cannot do this to myself, please leave me alone, leave. And I would leave, and after 2 weeks, again the same thing, hey Mara, I miss you, this kind of thing. And then he would be like crying and shit. Oh boy, like that continued for a long time. But of course I was not able to go out and meet people, or even though if I go out to go to club or something with friends, I would be always thinking about him, and then I would be texting him like, I want to see you and this kind of thing. And this continued for a long time. I was really chasing after this guy for several months, and I guess he enjoyed it. Of course everybody will enjoy, right, if someone is chasing after. And I was basically like the whatever time I had spare time, if he wanted to do something, I would be like, yes, let's do it. And I was always available for that person. And meanwhile, I think he just didn't want to be alone. He thought maybe I was this safe option, that if he feels lonely, why not, Mara is available. So whenever he feels bored or something, he would be like dropping a text message saying, hey, let's do this or something. Then I would be so happy thinking that he thinks about me, he loves me or something. But in reality, no, that was not the case. And since I told you many times that we were on and off, and whenever he feels that he wants to be alone, he would be telling me like, can you please find someone else that you can love. And then that moment I was like, enough is enough, I'm gonna at least respect myself better. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna find someone else. So I decided to open Tinder, and then I was just trying to get out of my place and meet other people. And this was already 2020, like January. Our relationship started in 2018 September, so imagine half of the relationship was this on and off shit. And I met someone, and I started to shift my focus on this person. I think he realized that I wasn't there for him anymore, so he was again trying to come back at me saying, let's have a talk. And then I went to his room, and then he started to cry and saying like, I cannot think of you, that you are having something with someone, but at the same time I cannot be with you. And I was just listening to this bullshit. He was just crying and saying like how he misses me, he wants to be with me, but at the same time he cannot. And this happened already several times. So that day I just couldn't do it anymore, guys. Like I couldn't listen to this bullshit. And then I told him, hey Kevin, look, like you told me like 2-3 weeks ago that I should find someone, and I decided to open dating app, and I did meet someone. And he couldn't believe that I did that. He got so pissed. He said, get the fuck out of my room. And then he blocked me from everywhere. And I couldn't believe that his ego was shattered like that. At the same time, he was making me feel shit. He used to tell me I'm psycho, crazy, delusional, whatnot. But hey, once I found someone, he couldn't believe that I did that step. And the whole time I was thinking like I was taking shits from him, and then he blocks me, what the fuck? And once I tried to even tell him like, hey, Kevin, I know you blocked me on WhatsApp, but is there a way that we actually stay like a friend? And of course that didn't go well. And yeah, a few months later he started to date with my acquaintance. That was fun though, actually. That made me go crazy actually, for real. Because I was like, wait, I know that girl. What the fuck? We used to be friends and now this girl is dating my ex. I guess now I see why we stopped being friends. And to be honest, I'm so happy for them that they found each other, and yeah, why not? Like, people meet in different places, different circumstances and whatnot. Yeah, whatever. And yeah, we were such a toxic people, so that's what you can take out of this relationship. And another thing is that what I learned is, do not disrespect at least yourself. If you see someone that cannot be with you and still playing around with you, I know sometimes it's hard to see when you're in that position, especially, but once you know, you feel deep down, your gut feelings, your intuition, whatever, tells you that, girl, get out of this shit, then please get out. Easier to say, but once you do it, you know how much freedom you can feel. Guys, like, back then I wasn't eating so well, I was losing so much weight, I was not a happy person, I was drinking a lot, and then finally I decided to start therapy. So I had to, do reality check with the therapists, and I was like, fuck, now I realized things were way different than I was remembering, because once someone tells you a lot who you are, then you believe you are that kind of person. And just be aware that if you were called out wrongly, even though you know you did something right, just believe in yourself. And with this, I am coming to the end of this episode. I hope this topic was not so dark and heavy for you, and if it was, I'm really sorry. I didn't want to trigger anyone's trauma, I just wanted to share mine so that everybody feels, at least whoever went through or going through things that similar to mine, just to feel that, hey, we are in this together and we can go through this, we will make it. And I just wanted to tell you that once you're out of this shit, everything will get better eventually. With this, I wanted to give you a weekly song recommendation. Recently, I discovered a very cool band from Mongolia. The band is called The Royal Heartaches, and my favorite song is 6 multiplied by 6 or 6x6. But I will share this song on my Instagram account so you can find it. I will see you guys in 2 weeks on Friday. So until then, bye!